Y'all didn't know it was coming, but it's here. Y'all didn't know this was going to happen again, but it's happening. Y'all didn't know. I didn't announce this. I didn't tell anybody this was going to happen. There was no press release on this, but it's happening. We are here. Y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know my name is Dre Baldwin. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's been all right these last. It's been about 3 weeks. It's been only about 3 weeks. Seems like it's been a long time. It's been about 3 weeks since I did a live. I am going to do a live right now. Who knows? Who knows? We might keep doing these. We might not. We might not. We'll see. This one ain't gonna be as long as it was before. I know that. I don't want the guys to be so loud. But listen, this is what we going to do. I'm going to talk to y'all about the topic here today. I'm going to tell y'all what the topic is. Y'all see it if you're on Facebook, you see it down there. If you're on IG, I got to pin the topic. I didn't pin the topic and y'all can't see it. I think it's somewhere in the title here. I don't know how they do the titles on IG. They asked me to put a title in at the beginning. I don't know how that works. But anyway, the topic here today is how to say yes to life. We ain't going to take too long. We ain't going to take too long on this. We're going to get right into this. I'm going to take a couple questions when it's over. But we're going to try to tighten this up time-wise because we ain't going to be on here for an hour like I was before. This is going to be about 10, 15 minutes, if that. But the topic is how to say yes to life. The reason why we're talking about this was good, everybody who's coming in. Let me shout out a couple people. If you left a comment, I'll shout you out. Virgin Never Since was good. Coffee the Great. Mozart, Money May, Coffee the Great. Hoop Loudy, Andy from LA. Who else? Joey checking in. What's good? What's up, everybody on Facebook? Y'all can leave a comment. I'll shout y'all out too if I see you. But anyway, we're talking about how to say yes to life. Brandon Joseph, Jerome's in the house. Aaron Philly in the house. Ryan from Virginia is in the house. East LA is in the house. So the topic is how to say yes to life. Because right now, I think a lot of us, since we've been in this shutdown / lockdown / quarantine, whatever each one of you's been going through, everybody been kind of scared to get out the house, scared to do anything, scared to talk to anybody, scared to have physical contact with anyone. But eventually, I think the way things are looking, I ain't no medical expert, and I'm not in the government. The way things are looking is that eventually we're just going to have to deal with this. We're going to have to live with the fact that this COVID, whatever this is, whatever you want to call it, whatever ideas you have, scientific advice or information you have, we're going to have to live with this. As far as I can tell, we don't have a vaccine yet, and it's not going to just disappear and fall off the earth. People are going to have this. People are going to have this. It's going to be around. And hopefully, if you get it, hopefully you don't get it, and you protect yourself as best you can. But if you do, you still gotta live life. Hopefully you survive if you got it. All right. If you don't survive, then it's a wrap. But if you do survive, hopefully you can live with this. We gotta say yes to life again. I think everybody wants to get back out here. You want to get back out and travel. If you got kids, you probably want your kids to go to school. If you a kid, you probably want to go to school so you could get out of the house and not have to be around whoever's in the house all day, or just be in the house by yourself. If you like to be outside, like I like to be outside at different times of the day, I want to be able to go back out if there's no places to go. Ain't nowhere to go right now. You can't go anywhere and chill outside unless you go somewhere to eat, and that's the only place you can go. I don't want to eat. I just want to chill outside. You can't even chill outside right now. So saying yes to life, there are 3 specific things I'm going to tell you to do to start saying yes to life again, or start saying yes to life, period, if you never did. Number 1, do more stuff. This is as simple as one. You just got to get more active. A lot of people in life become old, not because of how many birthday candles is on your birthday cake, but because of the fact that you don't do anything different. People become old when your brain stops growing, when your brain stops expanding. Your brain expands when you get new experiences, new information, you get new ways of looking at things, and you just try new stuff. That's how your brain expands. That's how your body expands. Not your body, but your spirit expands, and that's how you expand as a person. You cannot expand if you keep doing the same things over and over and over again. Now, while I am an advocate of persistence, I am an advocate of having routines and habits, at the same time, there's a time to stick to your routines and your habits, and there's a time to do something new. Because if you don't do new things, let me tell you something I heard a guy say the other day. He said, I can't remember the exact word that he used. It was a certain phrase that he used, but he said, like, when you do the same things over and over and over again, when people start to get older in life, right, and we fall into our routines and we do the same stuff, it seems like life is moving faster. And this guy said, it was like the scientific way he explained it, that it's true that life does move faster when you get older. And the reason is because we do the same things over and over. And the human brain is so complex that when you do the same thing every single day, the brain basically deletes it. So like if you take a 20-minute walk on the same path every day, that 20 minutes, your brain basically deletes it as if it didn't even happen because it already seen it before. It's like, oh, we already did that before. So it doesn't even register. It doesn't even remember that you did it because you already had that experience. But if you do something different, let's say if you walk the opposite direction or you go a whole different way on a 20-minute walk, your brain remembers that because you're doing something that's a unique experience. It's different from what your brain has seen before. So every time you do something different and do something new, it records as a new experience in your brain. But when you do the same thing that you've already done 100 times before, your brain doesn't remember it. It doesn't record it as a different experience. So it feels like that time, that hour that you spent, or that 2 hours, or that day, or that 20 minutes, is as if it didn't even happen, but the time went by. And that's why your life, when you get to be 55 or 60, it feels like life is going by really fast. It's because you're still doing the same stuff over and over again. Whereas when you're 16 or 17, you're doing different stuff every single day. So everything is a new experience. So your brain is like expanding because you're always doing different things. And I'm just using these numbers for reference, but you don't have to be a certain age for this to be happening. You could be 12 doing the same thing every day. You could be 25 and old because you do the same stuff all the time. You could be 65 doing different stuff. Like that movie, what was the movie where the guy had the bucket list? That was the first time people had that concept, was the bucket list. Maybe that was the name of the movie, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Do different things. If you want to get more experience in life, you have to start doing different things. You have to get yourself new experiences, and the more new things that you see in life, the more your brain will expand. The second thing you got to do to start saying yes to life is you must reclaim flexibility, recover flexibility. And when I say flexible, I do mean physically, but I also mean mentally. These days, I mean, y'all use social media. We on social media right now. You see that there are a lot of people who have become very inflexible when it comes to certain areas of life. Whether we talking politics, whether we talking politics is the main one that we see. Everybody sees that. Even if you don't want to talk about it, you see it. You can't escape it. People seem to get into these certain ideas and certain ways that they see things, and they don't want to change. They don't want to hear nothing else. They don't want to talk to nobody else. If they hear that you got a different opinion, they already put all these beliefs and opinions on you. They don't want to hear anything from you. They don't want to see nothing. They don't want to read nothing. They're not thinking about changing their minds. Understand that if you want to say yes to life, you have to be flexible to opening your mind up to the fact that maybe what you've been doing or what you've been thinking or what you're used to or what your routines are, maybe you could do something different. Let's just try something else. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't, but we got to find out. I just read this book a couple weeks ago called Thinking in Bets by this woman named Annie Duke. She used to be a professional poker player. And one of the things that she talks about in the book is that people get these concepts in their minds, or even when somebody asks them for a suggestion, people will offer their opinion as if it's a 100% guaranteed fact. If somebody says something like, what's a good example? All right, let's say somebody says, we're gonna try this new design of our website, and we're just gonna see how this works. If this gets more visitors to our website, and one person will say that's absolutely gonna work. Another person say no, it's not gonna work. She said the best way to describe how you feel about it is, instead of saying yes, it will, or no, it won't, is to say your percentage. How much do you think this will work? You can say something like, I'm 85% sure this will work, but there's a 15% chance it won't work. I'm 90% sure this is going to not be successful, but there's a 10% chance I could be wrong and this is going to work out. The reason why you do that is not because you're trying to cover your ass just in case you're wrong so nobody can point you out as wrong. The reason you're doing that is so that you can train your brain to not think in these absolutes. If you're not 100% sure of something, the only thing that's guaranteed in life is what? Death and taxes, right? So if you're not 100% sure of anything else, instead of stating it as an absolute, like, yes, this is right, or no, this is wrong, when sometimes you're going to be wrong about that, instead say something like, look, I'm 60% sure that it's going to go this way, but there's a 40% chance it can go that way. And again, this has nothing to do with other people. This is about training yourself to say, all right, this is how much I think I'm correct, and this is how much I could possibly be wrong. So you're leaving your mind open to the possibility that things could go in the other direction. Because this is what happens. When people start talking in these absolutes, and a lot of people do this these days, and they say, all right, yes, this is absolutely what it is. And then that thing happens. What happens, first of all, is we get this in our minds. We start thinking we're a genius. We start thinking we can predict the future. So we think we're just going to do that with everything in life. And a lot of times we're going to be wrong. And then the times that we end up wrong, we say, yes, this is going to work. And then it doesn't work. To save face, most people are not going to say, you know what, I was absolutely 100% wrong about that. You know, I said that was going to go that way and then go that way. I was wrong. When's the last time you heard anybody say that? Nobody does that. Though what people do when they end up being wrong is they start creating these stories in their minds, these rationalizations that make it sound like they were right, or that there's some excuse as to why they were wrong, instead of just admitting they were wrong, because nobody likes to admit that they were wrong. So this is how, instead of having to do that, you say, I feel this much it could work out, this much it might not work out. When you do that, you basically are challenging yourself, first of all, to say, you know what is the chances that this is actually going to work? And what's the chances that this is not going to work? Again, this is for your mind. It is not for other people. It's not for what other people are going to say about you. It's not for what other people think about you. It's not any of that. This is the way that you keep your mind flexible. And this flexibility is something that a lot of people have seemed to have forgotten over the years in life. And the older you get, the more rigid we become, especially when you're talking to people that you think you know more than. You don't want to hear anything that they say, right? Anything they got to say, you don't want to hear nothing. Anyway, third point, take more risks. You want to say yes to life, you got to take risks. And when I say risk, I don't mean a risk where you're like, taking a chance, but you're gambling with your life. I'm talking about something that feels like a risk, but is not actually a risk. And let me explain what I mean. Things start feeling like risk to us when we just avoid doing them. Have you ever had somebody that you wanted to talk to on the phone? Like, let's say it's been a week since you spoke to him. You need to speak to that person. Like, I need to call that individual. I need to call her. I need to call him. And you didn't call him. And then a month went by. And now you feel less interested in calling them because now it's been a month and a half and you haven't called them. And you're like, damn, when I call them now, it's going to feel awkward. So then you don't call them. Then 3 months go by. You're like, damn, it's been 3 months. If I call them now, it's going to be really awkward. Then a year goes by, and man, it's been a year. Then 5 years go by. You're like, man, I ain't talked to this person forever. They probably changed their number. And you end up just not even calling them. And it feels like a risk to even call this person because you haven't talked to them in a year, but it's not really a risk. What are they going to do? They can't beat you up over the phone. Nothing's going to happen. Worst case scenario, they don't answer the phone. And when you call, they're going to know it's you. As soon as they hear it, they can either hang up or keep talking to you. It's not really a risk. But what happens to us in life as human beings, since we are creatures of habit, the longer we avoid doing something, or the longer we just don't do something that we know about, we might not even be avoiding it, we're just not doing it, the more it starts to feel like a risk simply because we have never experienced it. It feels like a risk to go and to do a live stream on your Facebook or your Instagram, not because you're afraid, not because anything's going to happen. You're not going to go to jail. It's because you know about it. But for the last 3 years, you've avoided doing one, even though you had something to say. So it feels risky just because you haven't done it. So things in life that you are looking at, there are many things in your life right now, you probably look at them as risky, but they're not actually risky. You feel afraid or nervous or apprehensive about doing them, even though if you did it, nothing bad is going to happen to you. It just feels that way because you have for so long abstained or avoided or stayed away from doing it. So if you start doing these 3 things, I'm going to recap the 3 things that I said. The topic here is saying yes to life. Number 1, do more things. Get active, get outside. I mean, metaphorically, if not literally. I know you got to have a mask on. Y'all know what I mean. Get outside, get active, do more things. Your brain makes your life feel like it's going by faster because you keep doing the same stuff over and over again. When you do different things, life is long. When you do the same things over and over again, life is short because your life just deletes the copies. It's like you're watching the same movie over and over again. It gets boring. Eventually, you don't want to watch it no more. Second thing is regain your flexibility. Open your mind up to the possibilities that you may not always be right. Stop talking and thinking in absolutes. Think in probabilities. All right, it's an 88% chance I'm right, 12% chance I'm wrong. That's a book by the name of Thinking in Bets by this poker player by the name of Andy Duke. And number 3, take risks. They're not really risks, but they feel like risks because you haven't done them in so long. The more you do things, the less it will feel like a risk. And the things that you have been putting off and avoiding, they only feel like risks because you have avoided them. When you do them, you'll realize that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. I think that was Franklin Delano Roosevelt who said that, but maybe it was a different president. Don't hold me to that. Anyway, all of these things that I just talked about, you can learn more about them in this book right here called The Mirror of Motivation. The book is free. All you do is cover the shipping. You get this book at mirrorofmotivation.com. That's mirrorofmotivation.com. If somebody got a question, go ahead and post it. I'll take a couple questions if anybody got it. Mirrorofmotivation.com. This book, 100 and how many pages is this? 160 pages. This book is all about taking yourself from where you are right now to becoming the person that you want to be through changing the way that you see yourself when you look in the mirror. That's why the book is called The Mirror of Motivation. I'm good at making these titles. Mirrormotivation.com. The book's paid for. All you do is cover the shipping. We do ship this book worldwide. Doesn't matter where you live. Darby, what's going on? She said, you're always connecting the dots and making it easy to grasp. That's what I do. That's my professional skill, Darby. So I appreciate you recognizing it. If anybody got a question, go ahead and post it. I'll wait like 10 seconds to see if somebody got a question. Now, am I going to keep doing these lives? We'll see. I got to think about it. I got to see if I can come up with some more topics. We'll see. Somebody said, how do I get the courage to say no? I would suggest, everything I just talked about, I did a masterclass on this. It's episode number 1461 of the Work on Your Game Masterclass. Y'all can get access to that at Work on Your Game University, which is the link right down there. Work on Your Game University. is number 1461. What I just gave you was like a brief overview of it, but if you want the full thing, 1461, and that number is not random. We got over 1,500 master classes there. So if you like what you just heard, that was just a snippet off the top of my head. So imagine what I do when I plan it out. Listen, that's what it is. What I think about the Redskins name change, nothing. Who cares? I don't really care. Shout out to the Washington team for changing. People have been talking about that for years, but now that there's enough pressure, they had to finally do something. So I get it. Darby said, "Do more." I might do more. We'll see. We'll see. I gotta see if I can jog my brain for some ideas. That's my biggest challenge. So anyway, mirrormotivation.com, everybody. I might do this live again tomorrow. Just turn on your notifications. Y'all know what it is. Work on your game. Dre all day. We out.